Have you ever wanted to get into flipping in World of Warcraft? Or maybe you already started, but is struggling with finding items to purchase and resell? In today's video, I will show you how you can very easily get started or advance your flipping journey with the 3 best tools out there. The 3 different tools I'm gonna talk about is Flippingpal, Undermine.Exchange and PointBlankSniper. I just quickly wanna say that this next segment is sponsored and in partnership with Flippingpal, and in the end of this segment, I will give you a free 30 days trial to Flippingpal so you can try if you like it. Of course, if you know me, you know that I wouldn't promote something that I didn't like, and I actually think that Flippingpal is the easiest, fastest and most simple tool to find good items to flip. So let's get started right away. So the first thing that you want to do with Flippingpal is of course to come over to their website. It's just flippingpal.com. You want to sign in, or if you don't have Flippingpal already, you want to register an account. After signing up and signing into Flippingpal, you will have to put in some personal configuration here, what region you're playing on, and also all the realms that you want to buy on. I highly recommend you to buy on all realms if you possibly can. Even though you can only have 65 characters on one account, maybe you can have some tunes that you delete if you find cheap items on another one, or you just go with how many servers you do. I'm currently only buying on 65 realms because I'm a bit lazy, but it's totally up to you. You can also buy on very much lower realms if you want to as well. It kind of depends on how much you want to scale it and how fast you want to find items. You can also update your selling realms if you want to. I don't personally use this feature because I don't want to post my items specifically on the most expensive realms. I think if you use this feature, you're going to be advised to post your items on the most expensive realms. So I just keep this at all realms because I don't really use this feature. Then you just save and you go to the cross-realm flipping tool. Here is where the absolute magic happened, guys. This is so insane and very, very easy to find items. And I think if you just give me like a minute here to explain everything, you are going to see how easy it is to find items with Flippingpal. So here you can see a full page with basically items and a lot of numbers. It might look a little bit much in the start here, but that's totally fine. It's going to be very, very easy. So this page here basically lists all different items that could have a potential profit if you purchase them and sell them on another realm. However, that is if you buy them on the cheapest realm and sell them on the most expensive realm. And that is not how I target flipping. You can do flipping in multiple ways, but I think the best way to get started at least and do it in the simple way is that you are going to want to compare the buy price to the sale average price. So the sale average price is the average amount an item usually sells for. It's not what the highest amount an item usually sells for. So this is more accurate, and you can, for example, more safely know that you can sell this top item here for 2.7k since that is the sale average compared to the sell price, which would be like a gold cap here on the most expensive realm, right? So I highly recommend you to check at the sale average and the sale average buy. So what you simply do then is just left click here on the sale average versus buy, and it will filter on the most profitable items from the top here. As you can see, the buy price is 0 gold here. So those items usually just cost a bit of silver to purchase on those realms. So they are really good for flipping if you can get your hands on these items because you get them so cheap. But since we are all going to struggle with sales, that is the hardest part in flipping. If you have the wrong mindset, you're gonna get turned off pretty quickly. You have to understand that when you get started with flipping, you need a lot of items to see consistent sales. If you have 10 items, you're not gonna sell 10 items per day. You're probably not even gonna sell 1 item per day if you have 10 items, because the items you're buying is the server specific items, and they are usually slower sellers because they are not materials, right? If you wanna get faster sales and only sell items that actually will sell eventually, you wanna come over to the filter by sell rate here. This is so strong and so powerful and so OP. What I usually do with the filter by sell rate here, this is a personal preference. You can even go as high as like the max here, but as you can see, it's not gonna be that many items, right? It's only gonna be 1 item here that has that high of a sell rate that you can flip. That is going to be absolutely too high to go at 0.5. But I personally every time go for 0.017. I don't know why, it's just a number that I picked. It is fast enough for me. I'm pretty sure it means it's going to sell on average 1.7% of the times you post the item, right? So you still will have to on average average post this item for like 50-60 times to sell it, but that is not too much, right? Because when you have multiple hundreds of items, you will start seeing sales, right? And with this tool, it is so easy to find items, so that's not really gonna be a problem. 0.017 I put here to actually have items that has a sell rate, and I hate to buy the War Within gear. I do not like that. I don't want to invest into buying them, so I just immediately sort them out. So this I do by simply filtering on expansions here and removing the War Within. And then I also go to the categories and remove profession gear. Because when we buy here, I don't think we need to include profession gear here, because it is going to list multiple eye levels, and when we have such a good list, we can prioritize getting other stuff because we can find profession items pretty easily elsewhere. So I think profession items I pretty much always remove here. So when I have done that, I click again on sale average versus buy, and I have a bunch of items here, guys, that has an insanely good deals, as you can see. So now we have so many items that we can go in and buy, but I'm gonna show you how we can easily buy them as well, and what I do to purchase a lot of stuff very easily. I just first want to say that if you don't want to remove the whole War Within, you don't have to. You can just include that and remove weapons and stuff and armor, but I like do different filters at different times, because now I just filter out the War Within stuff, but then later maybe I go and add a War Within, but I remove weapons and gear, so then I have the War Within stuff included as well. It's like, it depends on what you want to do. You can also just check expansion by expansion, or however you want to do it as well. Like, it's totally up to you. There are so much filters, but I'm just showing you now how you can get started and easily find items, right? And since I kind of like to buy weapon and armor from other expansions, I like to first remove the War Within, but filter on sale average and versus buy, and then you can see here the best marginal items based on sale average versus buy price, right? You can see there are a bunch of items. Like, this list is so long with items that you can buy, and since you have put a sell rate here, you know that the items will sometimes sell. Even if it's gonna take a long time, they will eventually sell. And as you can see, some items here has a super high sell rate, like 0.55 here. It is a ring that is way faster. It's gonna sell like 5% of the times you post it or something, so that is going to be very much higher. It might sound low if you are not used to those slow sell rate stuff, if you're selling just materials regularly, but it is fast because you're gonna have so many items, so you're gonna see sales, and the margins on your sales is going to be insane, and that is how you make so much gold with flipping. Now, there are different approaches on how to buy items here. What I started with when I started using Flippingpal is that I started buying them one by one, because then they didn't have the auctionator shopping list feature here, which did improve this website, in my opinion, by like 1 billion times, no cap. This thing here is so OP, and I will show you exactly why. We can simply press get auctionator shopping list, boom, copy auctionator shopping lists, boom. Now we have all of these items in a auctionator shopping list, and that itself might not look too good, but now we can simply go through the different servers that we want to purchase on and see what is profitable. So what I usually do then is I just pick one of the top servers here. So we can start with Emerald Dream, because that actually has a wormhole generator Argus. I like to buy this, but I kind of buy everything at the moment just to increase my stock. So let's log into our character on Emerald Dream. Of course, I have made a character on every server that I want to sell or buy on, just so I have them ready. An allied character starts at level 10, and some of them even spawns in major cities, but this one didn't, so I just had to simply move it to Stormwind, but that was really easy. We are logged into Emerald Dream now. You might wonder, how are we gonna do this now? Of course, you are going to need the auctionator add-on then, but I guess pretty much everybody has that already, because it is such a popular item. But now, if you want to scan for your items, what I usually do then is I simply go to the auction house, I click on the shopping tab, I click on import here, then you can just copy paste the auctionator string that you got from Flippingpal right into here, and you press import, boom. After pressing import, you can see that you have a lot of different groups here to the left, and that is all different server groups that has profitable items on them, right? So that is really good. Usually when adding it, it kind of scans like this before you can get started. The first time you import the shopping list, every time you make a new one, it starts to scan like this. You just have to wait a little bit until it's finished. At least this is how I do. I don't really know if you actually have to do that, but when you see that it has stopped, you are ready to go to the shopping tab. Since we are on Emerald Dream now, you just search here to the left for the Emerald Dream, you left click it, and it will start listing the items. This is insane. As you can see, it's so easy, and we can find the wormhole generator for only 76 silver on this server. That's a deal, guys. Holy moly. As you can see, like I bought a lot of them, and 76 silver is just a crazy good deal. So then you can just go through this list and see like what items do you want to purchase. What I usually do is I just quickly compare with TSM here, the regional sale average, compared to what the price the auctionator has listed it at here. I just usually quickly do that just because sometimes, as you can see here, for example, this mount is listed for more than the sale average. But since you were using Flippingpal here, you got an auctionator shopping list, and I think that is based on the sell versus buy price, and then that is probably a good purchase if you were looking at that. But since I don't really do that, I look here, right? I want to compare the buy price to the sale price, and as you can see here, for example, the stylish blue shirt is 25 gold here, and it usually sells for 868. As you can see, I have already sold this pattern for 36,200, which is pretty unbelievable. I don't even know if this is a vendor pattern or where you get it. I can't really be arsed to look stuff like that up. I just purchase shit here just to increase my stock, but it is just insane how weird items that actually sells. Like, it is crazy. This is the diadem of the highborn. I usually have a limit of never purchasing an item for more than 50% region sale average. So this item is 65% basically, so I wouldn't buy this item. And then I just go through all of the items here and purchase whatever I want. So now there are two different strategies you can take. Either you simply just log on to another character and go through the list by list here on each server, or you can just look at Flippingpal here and see what server you want to go on to next and do the scan. And that is basically the easiest way to do it in my opinion. You can also just left click here on the item to copy the item name to the clipboard, log into the server and paste it in. Boom. But then you will only get one item each, of course, and that is maybe not the most efficient way of doing it. So that is basically a guide for Flippingpal, and as you can see, it is really optimal and really easy to find items with Flippingpal because you already get a ready list here with all the items that you can resell. And if you start, I would maybe recommend you to not go too hard into gear and stuff, as I said, because that is way harder. Those markets fluctuate more and the prices can go down on BOEs and stuff, so I don't really buy current content BOEs basically, not that much at least. But yeah, so that is a very basic guide on how to use this tool. You can probably get more advanced than me using this tool, but I can tell you that this has helped me so far to buy already over 1,000 items, and it is so quick. So that is really, really good. I just quickly want to leave you with that you can start with as low gold as you want. Like, you can start this with 5,000 gold if you want. As you can see, you can find good items for 0 gold, like only silver, as I did with the Argus, and you can purchase and purchase and purchase those cheap items, build a low stock with that, and just sell and get up and get bigger. Like, in our community, we have had multiple people starting with like 10,000 golds, and they already tell me they are over 100k just after a week. Like, it goes so quick, and flipping is so insane, guys. It is the most efficient way of making gold that I know of per time spent. But yeah, so if you want to try it out, don't be scared, just get into it. So if you want to check out Flippingpal, either use the code that you see on screen now, or check out the description for the 30 days free trial code for Flippingpal. I highly recommend you to do it. I don't think you will regret it. At least give it a shot. Try it and see if you like it or not. But I also said that I will include 2 different ways of flipping. So we are going to check out Undermine.Exchange and then quickly check out PBS. So let's get started with Undermine.Exchange. If you don't know about this website, it is basically an auction house on your browser. It is really good as well because you can simply search for the cheapest items on your regions. For example, I have made a bit of a favorite list here, items that I usually like to check if I want to purchase. So I just simply go to filter arbitrage mode and I can see how much it's cheapest posted for on the region, right? The downside of using this instead of like Flippingpal is that you don't really know what items to look for, right? If you don't already have a good list of items to search for. And that is a bit harder and maybe a bit harder to get into, of course. But as you can see here, we have all my favorite items here, and usually what I do is I just check if there are any prices that I see is interesting. I pretty much know those prices very good because they are my favorites, right? I kind of like look at them often. And for example, then this decahedral dwarven dice 10k, that is pretty cheap. If I were online now, I probably would have gone and copped this. I think they are usually like 17k. As we can see here, they are like 17, 19k. If you would like to see this item now and go and buy it, you can simply left click it, you scroll down and you get a server list here, and you can see what server it is cheapest on. It is on Silvermoon. So then you simply log in on Silvermoon or create a character on Silvermoon and go ahead and purchase that item. Of course, to sell sell it on more expensive servers. And of course, just to sell it on more expensive servers, you simply just put it in the warbank, transfer it to another server and sell it for more. Undermine has a lot of categories and it is basically working like an auction house. So you can just check for items here. If you find them cheap, you can log in and purchase them. It is very, very strong. And it is so easy to do this instead of somehow manually checking what an item is worth across all servers. I don't even know how that would work. So it's kind of needed to use something like this if you want to do it. This I can highly recommend to do if you don't want to get started with Flippingpal. But as you can see, it is harder to know what to purchase. But some things that I can recommend to you that sells good is the War Within recipes. This I look at a lot. So usually I go and filter here for War Within recipes and arbitrage mode. And I check for recipes and see if there are any cheap ones. For example, you can sometimes find really, really cheap recipes here. I think those that are highlighted are cheaper than the vendor value. Yeah, they are. So here you could even make some gold by just selling them to the vendor. But what I usually do then is look here for cheap recipes. 120 gold for this one is probably quite cheap. It is posted on Hygel. I just log into Hygel and I buy it and I repost it on another server. So it's very, very easy. Also, I very often buy the cheap mounts like Garn Nighthowl sells like a cupcake. Also the Coldfist Gronlin. So usually I buy those and flip those as well. In terms of the Chopper and Hog, I craft those and sell those myself on cross region because they sell pretty good as well. But like this is very, very good to find cheap items. Usually profession equipment is very easy to sell as well. So you can find them here. Highly recommend you to always buy the highest item level if you try profession gear. But yeah, I'm selling profession gear for around 1 million each week, but I am crafting them myself and selling them on 30 realms. But that nets me like 1 million gold every week. So they are definitely selling, that I can tell. So that is some items that you can check out if you want to use Undermine.Exchange. Then into the last method that I was saying, and that was PointBlankSniper. PointBlankSniper is an add-on and it is paired with Auctionator. So for example, we could use our Flippingpal item list that we had from earlier and use in PBS. Then we would just simply open the sniping tab here. Of course, you would have to download the add-on PointBlankSniper first, but you should really do that and try it out because it is really good. When you have PointBlankSniper, simply just go here to price source, use DB region sale average. It's the best price source, I always say it. Then depending on how cheap you want to buy stuff, you can change this like percentage. If you're starting out, maybe you can put this lower at like 25% so you have better margins. Then you actually go here to shopping list. Now I'm gonna have a lot of them because I have Flippingpal, right? So this would work the same way as Auctionator. I could search for Emerald Dream here and press start and it would list the same items that we were looking at earlier, right? Because it is the same item list. If you don't want to do this with Flippingpal, you can have a PointBlankSniper list with items. As you can see here, I have a PointBlankSniper here, and this is an item list with a bunch of items that I purchased when flipping. I have just added a bunch of items into this list, and when I press start, it is going to search for any item in that list that is cheaper than 25% sale average. As you can see, it starts to pop up items here. Here you don't have a sell rate filter, so it could be very low sell rate on stuff. For example, this 0.05. So here you would have to check a bit more manually, but it will list items here. And as long as you have a good PBS list, you can find pretty good amount of cheap items like this as well. If you guys want my PBS shopping list, you could join my community Discord channel and leave a message in the PBS channel. If you do that, I will DM you privately a link to the PBS, so you can get that one as well. So if you want to try that as well, do that, and I will try my best to give everybody free access to my PBS list. But when you find an item that you want to purchase here, it is really, really easy as well. You just simply hover it, check if it is cheap enough for you, but it is going to be because you set a 25% limit here. So it's only going to show items that are 25% of the region sale average. So if I want to buy this item, for example, I just go over to buy now here. A little new UI you get with the PBS, so you just press buy now. If you want to go to the Blizzard UI, you can just press here and it sends you there as well. I forgot to show you how you imported PBS, but it is the same as earlier with Flippingpal. You just go to shopping, you press import, and you import your PBS list here. So it's very, very easy. And then you just go here, select there, select percentage, and go start. Okay, so how do I do when I want to sell items? How do I know which server to sell them on? This is a question I get a billion times because I get it. This is a hard part, but it is not hard if you do it like me. This is the correct way in my opinion because this requires no manual work. So this is basically how I do. Okay, so let's say I bought those two items here on Emerald Dream. Of course, I cannot sell them on the same server because the price is usually bad here on the same server as well. So I want to transfer them to another server. If you want to do this automated, I cannot show you in this video, sadly, how to set up warehousing and stuff to do this pretty much automated. Not automated, but as automated it goes. You can just use the TSM UI here to move the items to your warband bank. You can also use it to restock. But let's now say that I have bought a bunch of items and put them into my warband bank here. How do I know where to sell them? So what I do then is I log into every single character that I want to sell items on. Let's for example say that I want to sell items on Akama, which I am doing. I log into my Akama character and I will go to the warbank and I will simply restock my bags with one of each item that I have in my warband bank. I still don't know if the price is good enough on this server, right? Because I haven't checked the prices. So how can I know that I want to sell them here? I can't, because I don't know. So I simply just go to warband bank. I restock my bags with one of every item. For me now, it pulls out one of each item that I have in my warband bank. I have them now in my bank. And now I have set up my TSM group. If you guys don't have TSM, this is gonna be hard to post, but you can do it manually with Auctionator and stuff if you want to. But then you need to know what you're gonna post your items for. And that is a pain in the ass. And it takes you so much longer and is so inefficient. So if you actually want to do this efficiently, set up a TSM group that is posting at the correct prices. If you want this TSM profile, it is also included in the PBS thing. So if you write a message in that channel, I'll do my best to give it to you. But this TSM profile is set up to only post at a good price. And why is that? Because it has a minimal price of 150% region sale average. So if the items is less than 150% sale average on this server, they will not get posted. And since we bought them for, depending on what tool you used, for way cheaper at least than 150% region sale average, we know for sure that they will always sell for an insane good amount of profit. However, they will usually be posted for way more, right? Because prices are not usually exactly 150% TP region sale average, right? They are usually way higher. For example, this item here, it has a sale average of 9k or 10k. If it would be 150%, it would be 15k, but now it's getting posted at 45k, but because it's undercutting someone else. And if there are no listed auctions at this price, I have a normal price that is posting it at a fairly good price, I think. So I think this is really, really good. But as you can see here, a lot of items here is saying cheapest auction below min price, because this frog here is too cheap to post on this server. So then my TSM will not post on this server. So I just simply scroll here and post every item. And as you can see then, I don't get all of my items posted. And that is completely fine. What I do then is just put them back in the warbank, log into the next server, do the exact same process, and eventually most of my items will be posted. And then you don't have to do any manual work of checking prices, where to sell it, like waste a lot of time. You always know you will have great margins on your sales. Like you will make a lot of goals on every sale, but you will not waste any time on checking prices. Where is it best to post? La 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 la. That will hurt your gold per hour, per time spent. It will just make you burn out. This is so simple, guys. Anyone can do this. I hope this video has helped you. If you need any more information, let me know in the comments below. Check out the community Discord, guys. Subscribe and like the video if you like this, and check out Flippingpal, of course. Thank you so much for watching, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.